And we're live, everyone. This is Average Gamer, and now we're returning to Civ 5 Vox Populi, continuing with the A to Z Nation playthrough, playing as Egypt. And wow, I'm very surprised. Like with the new changes, the first thing that jumps out. I mean, yes, I did go back down to King, but this felt like right now King feels like it's the difficulty is in the middle of. Am I losing gold? Yeah, I'm only getting. Yeah, for King difficulty, it feels like. How should I put this? It feels like it's in the middle of Emperor and Immortal. At least the old Emperor and Immortal. So it's not as difficult as the Immortal, but it's definitely more challenging than the old King. I actually don't mind the change because it feels like the AI is doing a lot better. UK foods. Oh, did I just skip altogether? Or is so Shoshone got no sanction. Wait, what? Oh no. It's probably the office or at least headquarters was removed. Travel ban, sanction. I mean the funny thing is I don't. Yeah, I'm still some ways. It's science victory is still faster. So that's the first thing. The difficulty. I feel like it's improving the right direction because Immortal and Deity are supposed to be very tough. But what I'm worried about is the lower difficulties. I don't know how it scales with difficulty. Like for example, is Settler also getting such a boost because that would make it actually pretty tough for newcomers. Travel ban that fails, that passes. All right. Do I still have a part? No, I think I'm almost done. Oh yeah, that's the reason why. You will. All right. I'm just running out of options to trade with. And now, how about Egypt? Egypt is interesting. So first, you have your war chariot. It's available on wheel. I think that's what the tech is called. So it's the same tech as Stonehenge. Yeah, the wheel. So generally, you go for it to get your unique unit and also to build Stonehenge because actually early on I think you get roughly the same. Like you don't exactly get a bonus because I know it says plus 20%. I mean you're definitely not gonna have golden age at the start, and 20% of a single digit is not gonna round up, at least not to my knowledge. So early game, you're on the same foothold on as everyone else, and quite frankly, Stonehenge is not a bad one to get, especially if you get Stonehenge, you get lucky and be able to either buy some war chariots, then you can really start. Actually, with all the changes to the difficulty, I'm not sure how things would differ actually. I mean, they will differ, don't get me wrong. It's just that I don't know how things are going to be adjusted. And yeah, late game gold. I mean, yeah, you really need trade routes. Otherwise, you are not going anywhere. But yeah, so first, the war chariot, it's okay. I mean, the problem is not with the war chariot, but with the mountain range units. There's been so many changes. Honestly, it's so hard to tell what is happening and what is not. And I'm so lucky none of the AIs bother with me. Like, there have been wars declared, but there hasn't been actual attacks, so... Hey, I finished CERN. Alright, I'll get one of that. Thank you. And I'll get one of that. I'm just getting it for fun. CERN. And you can go for recycling center. And you can go for a wind power. Actually, wind power would have been pretty strong. Since you already came out, let's use you up. But the problem is, it's Arabia. Actually, both of them. Yeah, the penalty, different ideology. Ooh, actually, that's pretty big. And that's it. So, War Chariots, it's kind of hard to say like how they're doing because of the fact that they are like mountain range units have gone through a lot of changes. I don't even know if their change is over. For all we know, there might be more changes coming up. So yeah, that's kind of hard to determine. Crabs, I mean, crabs weren't particularly useful for me once I got like hang gardens. And plus, I really delayed the monopoly. But what's really good about crabs is the corporation, which played, holy cow, how many? Yeah, corporation, the Centaurus extractor. I got plus 36 production. That is insane. That is quite a bit. So yeah, war chariots. Right now, I feel they're kind of weakish. They're not great. I mean, they're 5 range combat strength. And when you look at that, they hit as hard as Archer, but Archer has 2 range. So right now, I don't know. War and plus, depending on the terrain, war chariots is garbage. Like you see me in the first episode where I was clearing out barbarians, like right here. It was on the farm. So what ended up happening is I needed to either attack from the hill or from this forested hill, which is rough, which means I do a lot less damage. And overall, yeah, that really hindered me. It wasn't great. I just feel there's definitely more room for improvement. I only got 16 wonders. 14. Wait, Portugal snatched a few. Portugal got the Motherland Calls. Yeah, he was building his secondary city. That's why he got it. I would have loved that. That would have made my life so much easier. I was worried because I couldn't. I was worried he would have gotten the wonders, the Hubble Space Telescope, which would have helped him jump in front. But Portugal dealt with him, so that's fine. Yeah, he stole a couple. He stole Eiffel Tower. He stole Motherland Calls. I mean, technically he got Notre Dame before I even got the text, so I guess I can't blame him. Brazil was also annoying. He got the Forbidden Palace. I'm just lucky that Arabia didn't. Like, Arabia... Yeah, Arabia was in a pretty stellar spot. Having all of this to himself. Having his own coal. Oh my god, look at all of these hidden antiquity sites I could have gotten. Oh, Ormus have also been liberated, I see. He had quite a few coal. He has oil, coal. Is there aluminum? I mean, he had gems. Gems are pretty nice in terms of monopoly. Crabs is a hit or miss. Like, if you need to grow your cities, it's nice, but I find lots of food is not that good. At least not that good for me, because then there's all the unhappiness I have to deal with. I felt that in terms, like, I got the thrift follower, and my gold income is still trash. I'm so glad I got it. I mean, yes, it caps at 10, but I'm happy about that. The Reformation, in hindsight, was actually a good choice. Yes, I didn't have the faith to get a lot, but I was able to get the ones that were able to turn things around. Especially when you look at, like, We Love the King Day. Yes, it's only 5 turns, but it helps reset it, which helped made my capital a lot more productive overall. And getting the great scientist, great writer, all of that, that was a really good choice. Honestly, Babylon, if Portugal didn't wreck Babylon, I think Babylon would have been a fierce opponent, because if I remember correctly, Babylon lost Borsippa and Durkura Golzu, and then that's when they started going downhill. So overall, I got very lucky with Portugal. Like, Portugal, I mean, Portugal's unique ability is really nice early game. Like, if she could get a couple trade units up early game, her science just explodes. Especially if she could stay on a single city. But yeah, I'm lucky she didn't get that far. And overall, yeah, things have went pretty well. I was also worried about Brazil after a while, but yeah, Brazil, I don't know. Yeah, the big thing about Brazil was that he started falling behind in text, and he was just never able to catch up at that point. Without being able to keep up in text, it means that me and Babylon are competing for wonders. He doesn't get those. It doesn't help him. And I mean, at one point he was like, he's doing well, but he's not doing that well, thankfully. And really, if the game went on a bit longer, I'm pretty sure I would have influenced. I could have won cultural victory. So that's why I say it's like a difficulty between Emperor and Immortal. Now, I don't know what Emperor would be. I mean, this is only King. But like I said at the very first video of this, I don't have that much time now, so I do what I can and make work of things. And yeah, I kind of like the changes they're going. What's good about Brazil in that he wasn't threatening is initially he had no coastal cities. Until he took Dublin, he was landlocked, which means I was pretty much safe. I was more or less safe. And nobody really threatened me. I just did my own things, trying to not anger anyone. Do my strategic denouncement like Brazil when the Celts, Russia, Shoshone hated him. So I made sure I didn't have a lot of big enemies. And the AI just left me alone. I mean, my military is awful, which is not that bad. I mean, I'm almost at my cap, so. But to be fair, I haven't built a lot of things. Like, if I build more seaports and military bases, and suddenly I'll have more supply to work with. But yeah, I feel the global peace accord sort of did what it should have done, because when you look at a lot of these civs, their income isn't that good. And part of it might be their military. Like, the military got to a point where it's really expensive and they can't support it. Alright, back to Egypt. So War Chariot, it's going through so many changes. Honestly, it's hard to tell, but right now I don't like where they're at. Like, they're very situational. If you're if you have an enemy nearby and around them is rough terrain, your War Chariots are useless. If around them are flat plains, floodplains, desert, that's where they truly shine. Burial Tome. The base yields, it's okay. But mostly this free, unique Egyptian artifact when constructed. It's really nice, because when you finish building it, your artifacts give you 5 science and 5 culture, which is a lot at the start. So that is not bad. But overall, the unique ability I feel is very lacking. Okay? So, landmarks. So, okay, let's put it this way. The earliest you can get artifacts is when you get. It's not trade. It's. I don't remember the text. Currency. The earliest you could get artifacts is currency. I mean, any earlier and it is really broken because 5 science and 5 culture is pretty powerful. So, that's the earliest you get. And the more cities you have, the less powerful it is. Because the penalty you get, like the 5 yield of both, isn't quite strong enough. But wait, for every desert or tundra, I had no desert in my capital at all. And tundra was like 3 tiles out. Yeah, it was weird. So, you're getting, yeah. But yeah, overall, that is pretty strong. Like it's a huge, it's a pretty big steroid of increases the output of faith. It's only 1 faith. It's not that much of an increase because this is late classical era. It's not that big. Culture, I don't know what they mean by culture unless they mean the artifact. Nope, it mentions the artifact after all. Yeah, it probably went through a few iterations. A lot of these do need to be updated, and I feel sorry whoever is tasked with that. But yeah, the thing about the unique ability is that, so the building wonder bit, you don't really benefit it until mid to late game. That's when your extra production actually, like, you'll notice it enough to help you snatch more wonders. And Golden Ages, I mean, I did a horrible job of maintaining that. I mean, that's why I was considering Freedom. Because what Freedom had is that it gives you longer Golden Ages, which means that each of my great artists will go further and I will actually have indefinite. If you watch my game, you'll know that I didn't get Golden Ages that just continue for the rest of the game. There were intervals, which was why I was having trouble getting, that along with other things. But yeah, overall, the extra production towards wonders, it's okay, right? It's just that on higher difficulties, that, like, where you need it the most is the early game, because if the AI starts snowballing, you're gonna have a hard time competing with them. And then, see, the thing about artifacts and landmarks. Artifacts is pretty amazing when you get the burial tome. Fewer cities you have, the more benefit you get from those yields. Because the more city you have, the more penalty you get regarding your policies and your technology, which means that 5 of each is not as strong. And then you have landmarks, which doesn't give that much. Yeah, overall, I feel like Egypt is pretty nice for lower difficulties. For higher difficulties, they're pretty meh. And I know I didn't use the 3rd and 4th unique component. And 3rd and 4th unique component adds some interesting concepts. Let me just open it up. You won't see it, I'll describe it to my best ability. But first, your second unique unit is Spearman replacement, which I feel is really bad. Like, when you have unique units that, like first of all, when you look at the tech, right? When you look at technology, Spearman you get from bronze working. The war chariot you get the wheel. It's pretty far apart. I just feel it's a really bad choice overall. Honestly, there could be room for improvement for that. And the Spearman replacement, Kopesh, or however you pronounce it, yeah, unlock bronze working. No anti-mounted, and they get plus 30 combat strength versus units at or below 50 HP, 14 combat strength. I mean, they're okay. They're slightly stronger spearmen, not anti-mounted, but they do a lot more units to enemies that are lower. But honestly, spearmen, I feel are just weaker and weaker as time passes because swordsmen got buffed. They get 17 combat strength. Why are you wasting time building these guys when you would rather beeline for swordsmen and go from there? Of course, I could see where it's useful if you're doing early rushes. You have, war chariots would have been stronger if archers still kept their 1 range, but now that they get back their 2 range, honestly, these changes just throws you off because you're like, how do I even theorize? And what's gonna change next patch, right? And then the other one, unique building replaces watermill. Unlock that masonry is called the nilometer. Interesting. Can be built in cities without river. So that's an extra without river. That means if you have cities that start with well, yeah, cities that are not next to wells. Yeah, cities that don't have wells, which you get extra gold. You build a well and then you get this, and you get +2 food, +2 production, +1 culture. I don't remember the yields. So you get +2 production, +1 culture. That alone is already pretty nice. And then +2 production for every 5 citizen, as opposed to +1. Okay, so you'll get a bit more hammers, and it spawns flax in the city, or at least nearby tiles, and they're just resources. They get +1 gold, and then when you improve them with plantation, you get +1 culture and +1 production. That is pretty interesting. And then apparently, when you get Egyptian burial tombs, you also get +1 gold and +1 faith to nearby flax, and you get 2 of those. So yeah, I feel like my strategy would have worked more, but I feel like if I used 3rd and 4th unique component, Babylon would have snowballed even faster, just because he's gonna get that unique national wonder. Overall, vanilla, I feel Egypt could get some help. Like personally, I wouldn't mind if, like, artifacts, keep it where it is, because the idea is you rush for burial tombs to get them, but maybe make antiquity sites stronger, because you're sacrificing quite a bit, right? And +5 gold and 5 tourism isn't that impressive. Like, for example, let's see, religion. I'm thinking of the Reformation. Not that one. Not sacred sites, right? So hotels and all buildings purchased with faith provides +3 tourism. So 5 extra tourism on your antiquity sites isn't that impressive given how late it is. Honestly, I don't mind seeing a buff, but I think that's what other people, there are probably people against it. But anyway, this was a fun game. I like the changes. I feel like King I could more or less win reliably. I was lucky. If I wasn't isolated, I would have go probably for like authority. But overall, I feel like, yeah, Egypt, at least for my playstyle, I feel they could be buffed further. They're at a okay spot, but Of course, I say that, and then actually the Egypt in my game usually does okay. So I guess that's fine. I mean, maybe my idea is that make all the civs OP in their own way and balance it that way. Kind of like Dota 2, right? Like all the heroes are OP, so basically your balance is to make all of them really strong and then just go from there. But I guess that's harder to balance. Egypt is okay, it was fun. It's nice to see a victory. Yeah, the Denmark game left me with a really bad taste. Anyways, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you everyone for watching. I don't know when I'm gonna do the next